Good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Shoot. I thought I had this thing adjusted. It makes you take a little thumbnail when you first start, and it was adjusted for the thumbnail, and now it's not. Shoot. Don't get mad. Pull this up a little bit. There we go. So, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes because last week y'all told me that YouTube wasn't giving notifications that I'm on, so I see one person has joined. Hey! Thanks so much for hopping in. I'm gonna continue to adjust real quick. This morning. Let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and get started while you guys are hopping on in. I apologize if the notification, I said last week they weren't, so hopefully this week is a little bit better. Man, my hair is horrible. What's going on today? Just another Monday, right? So, first off, I'm going to show you my awesome new coffee mug. Dang Cute Fish had a giveaway where she was raffling off one of these beautiful mugs. Look, it's Frank! And I decided that I had to have one. She's got them on her Etsy store. She's got a freshwater and a marine mug, so I had to hop on the bandwagon. I gotta have a new mug. She's also got stickers too if you need some stickers. Wow. So, in addition to stickers, I know I mentioned the last that there's a trend on Instagram going around where people are trading, sharing stickers. Take has an Instagram account, and I absolutely really enjoy it. He's got a lot of really good advice, and a lot of his stuff is obviously on a budget nanotank or nanotank on a budget. Really cool information, and is always encouraging us to be better reef keepers. So thank you, Benjamin, for sending these water bottle. Can't wait. This week is cephalopod awareness, as you can see. Octopus earrings. I've got a little up here on the top of my tank for this episode. We talk about resources that are available to you as a hobbyist. I wanted to real quick mention Reef Cell again. I know I talked a little bit about it last week, and I'll probably continue to talk about it. Just, you know, it's an awesome food, and I want to spread the word. So, again, I've got this fancy light on, and it's like, nope, it's not gonna focus. So this is Reef Cell. It comes in these little tiny containers, but it's engineered nutrition. So if you think about it, when the corals are out in the ocean, they're kind of living in a plankton soup. There's food opportunities all the time. Like, they're always, for the most part, able to eat when they're just hanging out in the ocean. But that's not necessarily the case in our tanks, right? Our tanks are engineered environments just for the fish. So it kind of makes sense to have engineered nutrition for them too. So that's, Reef Cell is microencapsulated. It's made so that your corals are going to get the most bang for the buck. You know, you think, I mean, I feed for about 30 minutes. I like to sit and watch the corals eat for a while, and I kind of hand feed with a little pipette. But during that 30 minutes, I want to make sure that my corals are getting all the nutrition they need. And they, like, because of this is microencapsulated, it's getting them all of those nutrients. So that's engineered nutrition for an engineered environment. Makes sense, right? So, I know that sounded really cheesy, but it really is, you know, I can, after I feed, within like 5 minutes that what's going on today? Within like 5 minutes that I start to feed, I can see the corals like pulling this in, and, you know, within an hour of feeding, like, I don't know, they look a little bit bigger, they look a little bit brighter. So hopefully one day I'll be able to capture that. My nanotank is going through a bit of a algae bloom right now. I've got some algae that I have to get under control. I actually went out this weekend and bought another trochus snail and an emerald crab to try and help get that algae down to where it should be. So, as with any reef keeper, I want to make sure that when I show you my tank, it's looking nice. But I do enjoy feeding my acans. Hey, thanks for joining. Good morning. So, this is the part that I really want to talk about, that I'm super excited about. Check out my books. Okay. So these are just a few of the books that I have at my house. I have been collecting aquarium books, fish health books, fish ID books forever, probably since I was in school, for about 11 years. I've got a good collection so far, but I wanted to talk to you guys about resources that are available as hobbyists, as fish keepers. You know, it's not always obvious, like especially when I first started. Finding good resources is not easy, and you know, it's taken me, like I said, 11 years to amass this collection. This is only 3 of like an entire bookcase that I have upstairs that I use for, a lot of times it's diagnosing fish that are sick, and you know, but there's other people out there that I'm sure, like if you've never set up a sump before, or you know, you're not certain on water parameters and how to do that, like there's resources for that. So what resources do you use? Tell me about it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my favorite ones. YouTube is a great resource. I posted about this live on my Facebook page, and I asked a bunch of the industry, I guess, I'm going to call them mentors, because they're people that I've looked up to, people that I've met through the industry that have been in the hobby for a long time, much longer than I have, and have experienced all this stuff. And a lot of them, you know, learning from each other is a really good one, and YouTube is a really good avenue for that. You know, there's a lot of people. Somebody mentioned King of DIY, Aaron's Aquarium, Prestige Reef is out there. There's a ton of great resources available. Yeah, been reading books since I was young. Yeah, me too. And these are some of my favorite books. There's a book that I don't have that my local aquarium shop has. Occasionally I'll go over and borrow it and I'm like, hey, can I use that book? I need to check out the resource. So that book is the Marine, I can never remember the name of it. The Marine Hand Guide to Healthy Fish. I believe Lance and Bob are the authors on that. Once I get a copy of it, it's back ordered right now, but when I get a copy, I'll definitely show it to you guys, because it's got great photos. It's really plain and simple. Some of the books that have been around a while aren't as like clear and concise, and the pictures aren't as good. That's one of the things that, when it comes to diagnosing fish that are sick, I always had issue with, is good pictures, because you know, if it might seem silly, but like if you've never seen ick or white spot disease, you know, you could maybe see something that's limp on a fish and think that it's white spot, but it's not. But if you don't have a good picture, you're just kind of going off of something you read. So I like books that have really good photos. So first off, diseases in marine aquarium fish. This is for marine aquarium fish, but I've got a bunch of books. I just picked like the top 3. Let's see. I'm going to try and find a good example of, you know, what I like. Most of these books, they talk about, in the beginning, they talk about filtration. So that's good. Water quality is good. Let's see. I'm trying to find, I had a really good picture when I was doing the Instagram. So, okay. Uranema. My little clownfish in quarantine right now is struggling with uranema. His doesn't look like doesn't really look like any of these pictures. I guess I caught his really early. His was a whole bunch of like really small, real tiny patches, maybe like 4 scales, like little groups of 4 scales. It didn't get this bad, but this is these are fish with uranema, and it's got, you know, a bunch of different examples. It's very clear. I've worked in the hobby and I've seen uranema, and I think these are really good examples of what uranema is. But if you flip through, it tells you the treatments. It tells you about what uranema is. It's an ectoparasite, how to combat it, and medications to use. So this is a good resource. And a lot of these books, you can probably buy them on Amazon. I love to read, and every time I go to the used bookstore, I'm always like, all right, looking in their pet section, trying to find books. Yeah, the reason I bring him up, somebody mentioned that one in the live stream. You know, I'm just telling you, these are my resources that I personally use. And I know a lot of people have differing opinions, so this is a good one. shape, color, and behavior. You know, I've mentioned before how important it is to spend time and pay attention to your fish and watch your fish. Behavior is really good. Like, for example, Frank the cowfish, the other day, I fed, and I think one of the tangs like spooked him or something, or like stole a piece of fish from him. Maybe one of the crabs like got him. But like I look over and he's like laying on the ground, like doing this weird like flippy thing, and like would fly up or like swim up to the surface and kind of like spin around and look at me like, dude, what are you doing? And stuff like that causes me to be like, hold on, what's wrong? Like a lot of times when fish are like brushing up against the rock, it might be a sign of ick. So I'm like, I don't see any spots. I haven't seen any spots, and it's been pretty good. Everybody in the tank is pretty good, but it did cause me to stop and watch him for a while. So, you know, this book, it's got, again, like understanding your water chemistry, the nitrogen cycle, sliminess of the skin, stuff like that. So this is a good resource. I don't use it as often as I use these other ones, but it's still good. This, I think, is by far my favorite one that I currently own. I really like that book by Lance, but I don't have a copy of it. I've got to borrow it. One of the reasons I like this one, I think, is available on Amazon. It was one of the resources that was available to me at my first fish store that I worked at in Charlotte, North Carolina, Aquatic Treasures, and I used it so often that I'm like, all right, when I'm like, you want to sell this to me? And they're like, no, wait, this is our store copy, so I went out and bought this one. I'm gonna find a good page. So the reason that I really like this book, it's got flowcharts. For a bunch. So this is, so you can look and say, like, you know, what's this the first one say? Do you see red dots on the fish? No. So you go to the next one. You know, elongated oval objects measuring up to 10 millimeters stick up out of the skin. All right, yes? Okay, and it tells you what it is, and then you go to the back of the book, and, you know, it gives you a little bit about whatever it is that your fish is sick with, and then at the very back, it gives you, there's a whole bunch of different treatment methods. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. And it gives you different options, and it tells you a little bit about the medications. Pictures on this one aren't the best. Like I said, I really like the pictures, but I do like the flow chart on this one. You know, it gives you a whole bunch of different options. If you're not sure, you know, you can, multiple times I've read through a bunch of these and be like, all right, well, it's not this for sure. I'm going to go on reading, and, you know, I might come back to that one. So this is a good resource. Another good resource that I like is, she's a fish veterinarian out of California, but I know she's lived in North Carolina. She's got an amazing website. Jessie Sanders is her name. I believe the website is NC Fish Vet. I think it's from when she still lived in North Carolina. I think they just had bought the domain name and didn't change it to California Fish Vet. But her website has a ton of great resources. It gives you a list of all of the fish veterinarians that are available that might be in your area. And she also hosts webinars that are free. I've taken a bunch of her webinars. You just dial in on your phone, you can put headphones in. There's usually a PowerPoint slideshow that goes with them, but you don't have to. A lot of them, like, she goes through and talks slides. So very informative, great lectures. She also has a fish health masterclass that's actually really good information. It tells you about the anatomy of fish and the physiology of fish and how they work and function, and goes over water quality. Very, very full day course, but really in depth and good. I'm trying to think what other resources. I tagged a bunch of people. I'm on Facebook, Hillary Jaffe. If you search for me, my profile picture is kind of me with my hair down on this fancy blue New Life shirt. Definitely feel free to send me a friend request. And a lot of people that are big in the industry have chimed in. People that have a lot of experience have chimed in and talked about what their resources were, who their mentors were from. It's a big hobby, but it's a small hobby, and a lot of people that have been in the hobby for a while are really excited to share with other people and are happy to give their information. We want to see everybody succeed, right? So I would love to hear from you. If you've got great resources, that's something I haven't mentioned, or you're curious about, you might have heard, let me know. Read those books, check out the used bookstores, maybe go on Amazon. There's a lot of information out there. Sometimes it takes a little bit deciphering and getting through it, but don't be discouraged because it's out there. I'd be more than happy if you found something that you're not sure of, send it my way. Somebody actually, on the Instagram, I posted this on all of our platforms and on some of my personal pages, like, what resources do you use? Somebody actually mentioned fishbase.org. It's a free website. It's got a lot of information, especially really, really good with fish identification, so check that out. Frank, come on, man. We're on camera. Did you have to do that? Scowfish, really? On that note, let me know what your favorite resources are. I'd be happy to share them and talk more with you about it. Until next week,